Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, still in my bedroom with another cider to try. But it's not a cider, it's a perry. Had a few perries lately. We've had one from this producer very lately. So who's the producer? What's the perry? It is Maddoc, so Jeremy Harris in Herefordshire. Tiny producer, we like him very much. And this is his Oldfield perry. Oldfield. So what does it say on the bottle? Let's have a quick look. So 2019, single variety, medium dry. That's about it actually, but with some other blurb, I've read the blurb before. It's the generic blurb he puts in his bottles. Pressed November 2019, bottled June 2020, unfiltered and pasteurised. So Oldfield, I think I said at the end of the last film that I never had a single variety Oldfield, which is nonsense. I've actually got one in stock. It's a still perry from Watkins. Their Oldfield. It's quite sweet, this vintage I've got. The last one had a lot more acidity. What does it say about Oldfield in the book? Oldfield probably arose late 17th, early 18th century, described by Knight, 1811, who believed it took its name from an enclosure called Oldfield near Ledbury in Herefordshire. Hungerball found its perry rich and sweet with considerable strength and equal of the renowned Tainton squash, formerly widely popular in the West Midlands, but susceptibility to scab and canker weighed against its recommendation for modern orchards by Long Ashton in the early 20th century, and is now considered a rare tree by Martel, Charles Martel, also a cheesemaker, although still available in sufficient quantities to be used by today's craft producers, capable of making good single variety perry, especially with fruit from ancient trees. In Oliver's experience, that'll be Tom Oliver, Marsden finds it adds depth, interest and sophistication to a blend with Blakeney Red, and I think I've got something in stock from him which has Oldfield and Blakeney Red in it. In fact, I do, and it's still conditioning because it's quite still, starting to get pétillant. But hopefully, in the next few months, when it gets warmer, it'll get fizzier again. Anyway, enough of that. We're here to talk about this. One other thing, though, got a comment, a question from Peter. Hello, Peter. What was it, Paul? Peter Paul. Begin with the P. I'm sorry, I think it's Peter. About single varieties, and if cider makers have the same sort of rules as winemakers, where if it's single varietal, it has to have an X percentage of the actual named varietal. So if it says Cab Sav on it, then it has to be 80% Cab Sav to be called Cab Sav. And you don't have to put anything else on there. But any less Cab Sav than that and more of the blend, then you have to name the other grape varietal. I said no, I did not believe so, because there's too little legislation around cider. Only needs 35% juice in to call it cider, which is kind of crazy when you think about legislation around other foodstuffs, that you can get away with that. So yeah, with cider, there's very little legislation. More legislation would be good. There is a group called the Specialist Independent Cider Makers Association. You can join them, and they have a rule that has to be a minimum 90% juice in there, fresh pressed juice, to call it cider, and 100% British apples, I believe, as well. And then you can have their mark on your bottle. You have to pay them as well for your membership. But apart from that, there isn't really any controls over these things. So there you go. There should be, though. Right on. Okay, so we've got a cork, not a crown on this one. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Let's see if I can get this off with my knackered shoulder. Let's see. Will it blow up in the bedroom? Let's see. Da-da-da. Okay, that's all right. Take that off. Come on. Come on. This thing a lot longer than it should. It's about the wobbly camera as well. This is where I sit with it like this for a bit, and Albert at Ross and White gets very anxious. Because I did this last time, and he sent me a message going, I got very anxious. I expected that to explode. Well, it didn't explode. I don't think this is going to explode either. Let's see if I get the cork out though. Yeah, that's coming out. Pop. There you go. Bit of gas coming out the top. This has got some sparkle. Seems quite gentle though. There's a little bit of very gentle sparkle. That's fine. As I've said recently, getting more into things which have less of a sparkle. But it's pretty fizzy though, nonetheless. Nice head on that. Very pale colour, which is what we expect from perries anyway. You don't get the darkness in them. This one almost looks like, it might be the light I've got, to be honest, but it almost looks like it's got a hint of kind of a Pinot Gris, grey pinkish hint to it, which I always like when I see things. But it's very pale. Yeah, it's not quite gold and it's not quite amber, but it might be the light I've got, because it's not a perfectly white light. But I want to say this has got almost like that pinkish Pinot Gris hue to it. It does in this light anyway. I'll check it out when I'm downstairs. If it's not, I'll put up a thing saying it wasn't that colour all I lied. Yeah, let's stick with that. All right. Put my glasses up so you can't see that annoying reflective, what's it called, Igor light? Is that what they're called? My Igor light in my glasses. I'd smell it. Nice. Interesting. Very delicate nose. That's often the case with Perry. Not always get quite, it's not a rich, intense nose anyway. But there's a fragrance to it. It's light, there's a hint of pear, there's almost a floral character to it as well. Yeah, gentle pear, hint of florality. It smells like it's going to be kind of, it's going to have some acidity, I think. I mean, it's medium dry with Jeremy. That could be quite dry because I don't think it has a sweet tooth. So it's medium dry. It's going to be pretty dry, I would have thought. Yeah, nice nose actually. Doesn't smell like it's going to be sweet. Doesn't smell like it's going to be sweet. Okay, lovely bubbles, massive mousse. Quite tannic, actually. Yeah, pretty tannic, medium dry. Got to go along with that. I mean, there is the merest hint of residual sugar in there. Well, it may not be sugar, it might be sorbitol actually, non-fermentable sugar alcohol, which you get in Perry. Because it's non-fermentable, it stays in there, and some Perry pears have got more than others, so you're going to have some sweetness even if it ferments to dry. The sorbitol will still be there. Bold tannins, nice minerality, not as green as the green horse we had from Jeremy a few films ago. This is like a classic quaffable dry Perry. ABV is 4.8. Superb. So there wasn't a lot of sugar in this apple to start with. It's gone down to 4.8 and it's pretty much dry. It's quite low in sugar. So I don't know if that's to do with the vintage. I thought 2019 was a pretty good year. I'm surprised that there are more sugar in than that. But hey, there you go. Depends on the tree and all sorts of things. It's not just the weather. For a nice expression of a subtle, delicate, yet interesting Perry, and you don't like the sugar, this is a good one to go for. Absolutely. It's nothing like as rich as the the Greg's Pits I've been having, from James Marsden. They've been really rich. The one that hasn't conditioned for it yet is super rich actually, and the other one that we got from him, I can't remember the name of it. I forget. Winnell's Longdon, Button Oldfield, possibly. I think that's what it was. The blend. That was not super rich, but much richer than this. But it's got the Perry character. If you give me this blind, I'd be like, yep, that's a Perry. It's a dry Perry. It's clean. There's like no funk to it. Yeah, I mean, it's like everything that Jeremy makes. It's really clean, really well made, good to drink. Yeah, again, I think I'd like to have this with something, with some food or something. I'd certainly like to have it on a hot day. Definitely, you'd have to have this on a hot day. At 4.8%, you could drink it during the day, and it wouldn't be too bad. All right, guys, did a lot of talking there, didn't I? Yes, Chris, you did. Why don't you shut up? All right, I will. I'll shut up. I'll go. So there you go. That was the Oldfield from Maddoc. There's the front label. If you can see that, there you go. Back label, there you go. Yeah, I'll be back again. Well, I'm going to make another film tomorrow probably, so I'll probably have another film up tomorrow. So I hope you join me for that. But until then, cheers.